Have you ever wondered what it sounds like if you put an electric ukulele through a rat pedal? Well, let's find out. Hey everybody, this is the Pathfinder electric ukulele from Flight Ukuleles. I almost said Jet Guitars then because it's the same company. So if you know Jet Guitars from my channel, then you'll know Flight Ukuleles. If you know Flight Ukuleles, then Jet Guitars are a thing. And in this video, I'm going to show you this Flight Ukulele versus this Jet Guitars guitar. It's kind of the same, but smaller or bigger, depending on which way you look at it. So yeah, this is small, this one is standard size. People often comment on my videos, why is he playing a 3/4 size guitar? And I see that and laugh because I'm quite a tall person, therefore a standard size guitar looks fairly small on me. So Jet Guitars and Flight Ukuleles, the same people, thought it'd be funny if we did a video featuring this, the Pathfinder Uke, which is quite literally half a guitar. So I'm going to look ridiculous playing it. But, spoiler alert, pretty good and it is a lot of fun. If you're a ukulele player and a yet-to-be musician or a guitar player that fancies something a bit fun, this could be the video for you. That is what it sounds like. It is immense fun. So I only know some basic ukulele chords, that was the tone there, but it is very transferable if you are a guitar player because you can use all the palm muting techniques and it feels like just like a mini guitar, a ridiculously small guitar. Looking at my monitor, it just looks so ridiculous. Can you imagine me being on stage with this? It looks so silly. Sorry, the combination. The actual ukulele, I think, looks pretty fine. I've played ukulele for a few years. It's been a few years since I picked one up seriously, but I love them because they're so portable and so much fun and smaller than a guitar. Doesn't replace a guitar, that's for sure. And the ukuleles I've played only knew a few chords. But I'm already having a lot of fun with this, as you'd imagine. Let's move on to the JS-450 just to show you what that looks like and sounds like. Imagine this, but bigger. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't think you've ever heard an electric ukulele played like that before, and I certainly have never played one like that before. But this is the Pathfinder from Flight Ukuleles. This is the JS-450 from Jet Guitars. They look mighty similar. The reason being is they are cousins. Jet Guitars and Flight Ukuleles are the same company, or the same parent company. They have the same parents, the same mum and dad, and they're making some killer instruments right now in the shape and form of Jet Guitars. Flight Ukuleles have been around for a while, but these are some of the new electric ukuleles in the shape of guitars. So in this video, I thought we'd plug them in, take a look at the specs, see how they feel, see how they sound, and most importantly, put them through some pedals and have some fun. Before I dive into the specifications, the feel, the look, the sounds, the fun, the pedals, let's figure out who's watching this video. I think you might fit into one of three categories. I think you might be a ukulele player who's looking to go electric, or a guitar player who's not going to buy a pedal this month and is looking to buy some kind of new instrument that looks like a guitar, or someone who's brand new to the world of ukulele and guitar and just saw the thumbnail or something and thought this looked cool. Well, if you're that third and final group of newcomer, then welcome, because this is something very, very cool. If you're the other two, also welcome, and you won't be surprised. This is really fun. Okay, so we've got a solid body ukulele. It's stringed through. The neck is bolted on with these 4 bolts, very Strat-like, of course. However, even at this small price of around 250, 260 euros, we've got a roasted maple neck. And that, combined with the hardware on it, means this thing will stay in tune. So, well done, firstly, for flight ukuleles. A roasted maple neck means the wood has been, as you guessed, roasted, and therefore is more stable. So, I'm very pleased to see this on both the JS-450, which is just there off camera, and on this Pathfinder. More specs. If you're new to electric guitars or electric ukuleles, these are the pickups. As we've got a humbucker, which is a louder, more aggressive sounding, and this one is a single coil, which is slightly more warm, slightly rounder sounding. And these are what turn the musical signals, the sound signals, into electric signal down the cable and into the amp, which turns it back into sound again. That's a very basic overview of what pickups do, and the Pathfinder needs them because if you unplug it, it's not very loud. And that's because it's an electric uke. So it's solid body. There's nowhere for the sound, or very few places for the sound to vibrate, just like an electric guitar. We've got some electronics just here. We've got 2 knobs and a 3-way switch. This knob here controls the volume of the uke. This controls the tone. So if you turn it all the way up, it sounds like that. If you turn it all the way down, it sounds like this. And you can make it sound a bit warmer by turning that tone down. The 3-way switch selects which pickup you want. So if you want this pickup here, you switch it all the way to that side. If you want both of them in parallel, so they're both together at the moment, you want it in the middle. And if you want just the humbucker, you've got it all the way to the left. So now it's just this pickup. I'll just play a little bit to show you the difference between the sounds. So I'm going to have the tone all the way up for this and the volume all the way up. We'll start off with the humbucker, and then I'll switch to both pickups, and then I'll switch to the single coil. Notice as I go to this pickup, it's going to get rounder, woodier, more acoustic sounding. Then put it in the middle. Then just on this single coil. And just to throw an opinion in straight away, I think it sounds brilliant on both the single coil neck and the middle pickup. I think that's beautiful. And then, of course, if you want to put some rock into it, put it through some pedals, it does sound insanely good with the humbucker. But I think that's a little bit too bright. Just if you were strumming along, wanting to play this in a band clean, it's a little bit too bright. So you can fix that by rolling off the tone. Or you can just flip it up to that neck pickup. Oops. One of the big questions I had about the Pathfinder before I played it was, can you get it to sound like an acoustic ukulele? So you don't have any problems with the feedback or anything, you just plug it in and it sounds acoustic. And I think it does. In that neck pickup just there, or even in the middle, I think it sounds wonderfully acoustic. And add some reverb to that, maybe EQ it a little bit, or certainly some kind of space. It needs to be put in a space. And you've got an acoustic sounding electric ukulele. Nice. In case you came here for the geeky specs, I will run down all the specs now. We've got a basswood or basswood body with a flame maple veneer on top in this finish that flight ukuleles call transparent blue. But I think it looks more like a beach, like, you know, you're walking into the deep ocean water, sploosh. It does also look a lot like a certain Ibanez AZ guitar, so I think there's a certain amount of inspiration going on there, flight ukuleles. Then we've got 4 bolts for the roasted maple neck, which is in fact... was it glued on? Yes, it's glued on. So we've got 2 pieces here, the neck and the fretboard. We've got 22 frets, which is almost 2 octaves. You've got 2 cutaways for getting right up to those high ukulele notes. So if you ever wanted to go up that high on a ukulele, now you can. We've got a 0 fret and a really well cut nut, 4 strings, 4 tuners, and this string tree here to give you more tension behind the nut, so it feels and stays in tune a lot better. The choice of materials and the build quality are brilliant. Of course, I missed out 2 strap buttons, so if you want to wear it like a guitar, you can. If I were to change anything about it, I would change to possibly new strings, because they were slipping a little bit, so I had to bend them in. I would possibly think about new tuners at some other point. They don't need it, but just so I had that peace of mind, I would possibly put better tuners on there. One thing it didn't come with was it didn't come set up, so I had to set the intonation here. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Don't worry too much about it, and your music shop should be able to do it for you. But the intonation was not set on this. The action was also not set. So to make it really playable and sound its best, I had to fiddle around with this with a screwdriver. It took about 8 minutes to do, and it was now it plays wonderfully. Let's bring in the Jet Guitars JS-450. This feels absolutely huge since I've been holding that Pathfinder. This is the JS-450 from Jet Guitars. It is a Strat style guitar, but it's very, very reminiscent of like Ibanez more. It's a weird combination. So it's got the look of the Ibanez AZ, and it's got the feel of a vintage Strat with a slightly flatter top and that binding. So it's a confusing but very comfortable guitar to play and weird to look at in a beautiful way. I don't know where I'm going with that, but what I mean is that it's a combination of things. It really is that Jet Guitars have decided they want a bit of that, and that's what it is. So even though it looks very recognizable, it's actually a little bit different when you look below the surface. Let's check out the specs. Woods first, we've got the flamed maple veneer top, which means it's a very thin piece of maple and it's there for mainly decoration. It's again that translucent blue, but I really like it, the sort of beachy look down into the ocean. Very Ibanez AZ. On the back, you'll notice that I've taken the back plate off. It's just here because I wanted to show you the trem system. Look at this block. It's a full-sized block in there. That I would have a bit different, but normally on these priced guitars you get something that's a little bit sort of pop metal and half a block. This has got a full block of something that I don't know what it is, but it doesn't say on the specs, but it certainly isn't rubbish, is what I'm trying to say. That's a fairly decent block in there. Then you can also see the insides, which is a good indication of the quality. That's easily top-end Squier quality, so Squier classic vibe kind of feel. Then we've got 4 bolts with a very nice beveled edge there, so you can get some more high fret excess. And then, of course, onto this very dark Canadian roasted maple neck, which I really, really want to take the lacquer off and have a look at the wood underneath. That's the detective in me. Now, the nosy person inside of me wants to take that off and have a feel of the wood. Then staying on the back of the guitar, we've got locking tuners, which are really good. So smooth with a vintage sort of button, which I think is brilliant. So normally, I think normally when you get locking tuners, you get more modern looking buttons. But I like that Jet Guitars have gone for the vintage ones, which adds to the vintage feel of this guitar. We've got 22 frets and a 9.5-inch radius. Perfectly fine. You're probably wondering which kind of guitar that you know, which brand guitar is this most like. So it's very reminiscent of somewhere in the sort of Squier Harley Benton range. So that's the kind of quality you're sort of expecting. The build quality, again, of this is brilliant. What is not so great are the pickups. quite clearly, Jet guitars have saved money by putting in pickups that are functional and fine, and they do what you expect. You know, it does sound like a humbucker. These do sound like Strat single coils, but they're not going to blow you away. So I'll give you some playing examples. So that's all the pickups, and I don't really like the humbucker, if I'm honest. I think the humbucker is lacking a lot. The neck pickup is pretty damn nice. So let's stay on that for a little bit and do something else with it. So the JS-450 is almost a delight to play. I mean almost, in the fact that the strings that came with it aren't that great, and they make it seem a little bit floppy, a little bit, I don't know, they've put all this effort into all of this, and then the strings let it down, seriously. With better strings, this would be a very, very enjoyable, pleasant instrument to play. That being said, it's very well constructed. The choices of materials, as I've said, are brilliant. But the sound, it doesn't excel at any sort of sound. It's quite nice on that pickup there, on that neck pickup, clean, and a little bit dirty. But the humbucker leaves a lot to be desired. It's not that inspiring sound-wise. But if you're looking at this guitar from the looks and you're new to guitar and you want something that actually works fantastically, this is brilliant. If you're a guitar snob, that I sometimes fall into that category of, you're not going to want to look at this unless you want to mod these pickups and the electronics. So, again, positive, it's a perfect modding bass, which some guitars aren't. What I mean by that is that it's already rock solid. I think I've said that far too many times now. It's a great guitar, it just doesn't sound that great. I also have to say the logo is not really my cup of tea. It's a bit, I don't know, a little bit too bright, a little bit too showy-offy. But you certainly don't forget it, that's for sure. Out of these two instruments, I would absolutely, personally, take the Pathfinder. I think it's brilliant. I've had a lot of fun with it. As a guitar player, it's nice to hold something that's a different, like some of the same rules, but very, very different in the same way. So if you're looking for an electric ukulele, this is brilliant. This is the one. This is the one that I would absolutely give to my kids and play myself. This is brilliant. This one, the 450, I'm not that enamored with. It just doesn't feel that great. But let's talk pricing. The Pathfinder Uke is coming in at around €269, whereas the JS-450 guitar is coming in at around €295. So there's not much between the two, so it makes absolute sense that the Pathfinder ukulele seems to be higher quality. I love this little thing so much. It is so much fun. The neck is absolutely gorgeous, and if you're looking at getting an electric ukulele, please consider this one if you can find them in the shops. They're quite hard to get at the moment. There's also another one called the Centurion, which I also have, which I'll take a look at some point. But if you come here looking for this and you're wondering, should I buy it? Do it. You won't regret it. It's very affordable for what it is. It's almost a steal for some fun. And then buy a Honey Badger fuzz pedal, octave pedal, and put it through that, because that's what I did, and that's when I had the most fun. I feel kind of sorry for the JS-450 now, knowing that it's €295. There is a lot of guitar there. Just at the box, it doesn't sound inspiring. Yeah, that's my only beef with it. Everything inside it is brilliant. If I were to keep it, I would change the pickups. If you like the look, get it. It won't let you down. This is the end of the video, which means you're in the end of the video club. And to prove that you are part of this prestigious elite, when you leave your comment down below, please also include the phrase roasted maple. And that'll let me know who made it this far, and we'll have a jolly good chuckle. That just leaves me to say thank you to Pro Piano in Austria for lending me this ukulele, and thanks to Jet Guitars for sending the JS-450 and for sponsoring the video. Speaking of which, there are more videos over there and there. Go and watch those and give them all a thumbs up. Let's see how many thumbs you can count. See you soon. Bye-bye! One finger wave!